On this episode of Tiki with Ray, I continue my conversation with Dawn Frasier. We talk about her shirts that she makes, her artwork, and corduroy jeans. This is why I want you to say, wow, Ray, that's a nice shirt you're wearing. Where'd you get that from?
And that would be totally me to say, but yeah. Yeah, man, that's like a really cool shirt.
Do you like this shirt that I'm...
That's an awesome shirt.
Oh, I hope so, because you made it.
Because it has my Sophista-Tiki logo on it. That is a great fabric, and that's only 2 of those shirts exist.
Yeah, really, it was only 2.
Only 2 people got that shirt. Yeah.
Yes, this shirt is actually made from Dawn. You make clothing, right?
Yeah, clothes, Sophista-Tiki togs. Clothes sell pretty steadily all year round, so that's like something that's easy for me to knock out is a shirt. And I really only stick to shirts. I don't do custom sewing. I'm not a seamstress.
No dresses. I
don't want to do dresses. I don't want to spend all my time sewing. If I did that, I would never have time to paint. I like to change up all the different things I do. So, I'll work on a construction project, or I'll build something, or I'll make frames, or I'll paint, or I'll switch back to sewing. I'll do some Dawn craft. I'll work on a rug. It's just always rotating so that I'm not, if I get bored doing one thing, I'm like, I'm done with this. I can't focus on it. I put it away, and I get out the next project and go again.
So painting is paramount for you?
Depends. Right now, I'm totally into painting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's correct. Because the paintings is where I am competing with the men on their level. It's the one thing that I do that isn't kind of a cliche girly art, right? Like designing fabric or sewing or making rugs. Those are all sort of girly things. But my paintings, in my subjects of paintings and how I paint, my colors, aren't necessarily cliche girly.
No.
That puts me up there.
No, the thing I love about your paintings, because in my opinion, art should create a mood.
Oh yeah, that's why it's called Moonzotica.
And your paintings create a mood. When you see your pictures, your paintings, it creates a sense of like, I think you told me it was like it's like 6 o'clock.
It's twilight.
It's twilight.
It's twilight on a warm summer night in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
It's that color of sky, or twilight in the South Pacific where the air is really warm. It's this very specific color of sky at a really specific time. Yeah. And a lot of people, this is weird, and I wish that this would go away because it's so not true.
What's that?
Associate blue paintings with depression. Oh, she's painting blue. That must be the depression.
Is that really supposed?
Really? Come on now. That's like some Freud thing from 2 centuries ago.
Hold on. Has anyone ever said to you, "Oh, Dawn, your paintings are too depressing"?
Yes. Yes. And I hear one person does it because they're teasing me, and it's adorable. But I do hear it from other people who are serious about it. That like, what? How come you only paint in blue? What's wrong with you? When I paint in blue, because somebody told me I couldn't paint in blue, and then I just worked it until it was amazing.
In my opinion, it's more like a green.
The phthalos. It's the full range of phthalos.
Yeah.
And those go from a blue to a green.
Yeah.
And each painting comes out different. Okay. Hold on, let me finish this.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting life's work study, and I've decided that I'm going to do this. I'm never going to stop doing Moonzotica, but Moonzotica is always going to evolve depending on how well I know how to work those colors of paint. And so other artists...
Would you feel that it already evolved already?
Oh yeah.
So
totally.
How?
Oh my God, totally. get so much better.
How so?
Well, I'm just a better painter,
Okay.
first of all. And when I first started doing it, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew kind of what I wanted it to look like. And I just was painting without knowing what I was doing. I've got on my desk right now a painting that I'm copying a painting. I'm copying one of the very first Moodsautica paintings I ever did. Like, I got back in the mail at Christmas time a print of it. So that painting is long sold. I don't know who has it. Can't remember. So I'm like, I'm going to repaint this now because my skill level is up, way up. And already, it's like I'm halfway done with the painting. It's already so much better than the first time because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But now it's like I know how I want to lay the colors. I'm just better with the paint and the brush, and my details are better. And I get the depth and the glow. And, you know, I have developed the depth and the glow, and that's really kind of the key to the Moodsautica. I'm not going to tell people I do it because I don't want people to copy me. Is getting it to glow. Like the one in Darren's house totally glows. Oh. And where he has it and how he has it lit, it's totally glowing. Oh my Perfect. God, That's amazing. It's in the perfect spot.
Yeah, it looks it's like the plate like it was made to be there. When you paint something, do you have an idea in your head of what it's going to be, or do you just sort of go?
Both.
Both.
So usually if I want to, okay, this is pretty much 99% of how I start every painting.
Okay.
I take a canvas, I draw a horizon line, and I just go from there.
And just from there.
I'll draw a horizon line and I'll paint the background. It takes a really long time to paint the black backgrounds. And after I paint the background, then I decide, depending on how what got blended where, and I can kind of see a shoreline, and I just start filling it in. It's like, oh, let's put an island over here, and how about a volcano there? And I'm like, here's a hut. And they just build as they just sort of are organic.
So you're like, it's like Sim City, but it's a painting, but it's tropical.
Okay, because I've never played that, so I have no idea.
It's this game where like you build a city.
I'm familiar with what it is.
I want a house here. I want cars there.
I've never done it. Yeah.
You're doing it with your paintings.
Well, yeah. If that's how you need to explain it to people.
I just used an analogy of Dawn's paintings from a computer video game from the late 90s.
Cool.
I just showed my age.
Okay, no, really, if there was a comparison somewhere in the 70s, I'd totally be into that.
Hold on.
No, specifically Two to the Left, 1978. That's where I like to be. That's like where I'm most comfortable and the most me.
1978.
Two to the left.
To the left.
That's two parallel universes to the left in 1978. So I know this is out there for some people.
But let's go down that road.
And I myself am completely entertained by it. And it's because I'm a stoner. Okay, I'll just fess up to that like you didn't know already.
We're learning a lot today on Tiki with Ray. We're learning a lot about Dawn Frasier.
I time traveled to 1978, but it's two parallel universes to the left, and everything is like suddenly so much cooler.
Yeah, well, okay, I was gonna say because I was around in 1978. I didn't think it was that cool. I remember like the gas crisis and
really, that's all you got out of 1978.
The Ford Pintos and Chevettes and
okay, that is the 90s interpretation of the 70s. Because there's a lot of cool shit happening in the 70s.
Remember everyone was wearing tube socks? Music
was awesome in the 70s on across genres.
Was there?
Yeah, a lot of great music came out of the 70s.
Like the Bay City Rollers? The Bee Gees? Tanya Tucker? Are these the class acts?
Anne Murray. Captain and Tennille.
Dr. Hook. There's a lot of doctors and captains back then. No, I think I just described I think I just described yacht rock.
Okay, just go two to the left. It's so much better.
I hope so.
You're not two to the right, because that's going to be worse. Two to the left. You know, a little bit looser and cooler. Think more exploitation.
Yeah. Yeah, I got
There was some cool shit in the 70s. Give me a break, man.
Once you get past the bell bottoms and
puppy catchers.
And the
did you have corduroy bell bottoms?
Yeah, I had corduroys.
BB runner puppy catcher.
I had pony sneakers. I had the corduroys, and I remember that corduroys were considered like nicer than jeans. Like, oh, we're going to church. You better put your corduroys on.
Put your cords on.
Do you want to?
Oh my god!
You want to hear it? Want to hear a bad joke?
That's hilarious.
Want to hear a bad joke?
Okay.
What's Helen Keller's favorite color? Corduroy.
That's so 70s, man.
Yeah, you couldn't tell that joke now because like millennials wouldn't know what corduroys are.
Right.
Well, millennials, if you want to know,
Helen Keller.
or they wouldn't even know who Helen Keller was. Did she invent Netscape or something? It's like that's probably what they wouldn't know.
That's hilarious.
Well, if you don't know what corduroy jeans are, corduroy was like a corrugated, textured pant. So, am I describing it right? And it was always like a weird color, like wine color, purple,
maroon, dude.
That's it, maroon.
Maroon and camel. Those are camel color corduroy.
I hope the 1978 that's two parallel uses had a little bit more of fashion sense than the real 78.
Oh my god!
I remember I'd wear like corduroy pants and I'd wear those like baseball jersey shirts, the 3/4.
Corrugated.
Yeah, because it was like you could feel the texture on it, right? Maybe that was the name of the jeans. They were supposed to be corrugated jeans, but someone's heard around like, okay, these are going to be called corrugated jeans. What, corduroy? Yeah, that.
Oh my god. What's in those cocktails, man?
Yeah, what's this? How would you describe corduroy jeans? What would you call that texture? What do you call the texture, Don? It goes...
I think corrugated is perfect. Oh my god! Oh, okay, composure. Oh, jeez. That was a good one, man.
Did you have... when I was a kid, I had feathered hair back then.
Me?
Can you believe that I had hair? Is that why you're laughing? Ray, you had hair?
Okay, that was the immediate joke, but...
You mean, Ray, you weren't with hair club for men back in...
I also had feathered hair. And it's very difficult to feather my hair. It doesn't stay.
Yeah, well, it looks like you're naturally curly.
Oh, yeah.
So why'd you just stay curly then? Why even bother?
Because it was the 70s.
I've had an interest in mid-century antiques, old stuff, right? And even just that alone puts you off from like the normal people. Like
It does?
Well, yeah. Like,
I've been doing it my whole life, so to me it's normal. And everybody from my era
because I remember I wanted
vintage, so we're all kind of the same.
Maybe it was different for me because I remember...
I'm a little out of touch with how it is for people now who are just getting into vintage.
No, I remember I wanted a Formica table, a Formica kitchen table.
That was my first piece of furniture.
Was it?
A red and chrome 50s kitchen Formica table.
Mine too.
I still have it.
I still have mine. And the point is, it's like, I remember that was sort of like an odd thing. Like, why would you want that old table?
Really? But they're cool.
Well, exactly. And everything.
So that just tells you the difference between, you know, average citizen and
like, I don't...
us.
I mean...
Whatever we are.
It just seemed to me like, I remember like the late 70s and the 80s. It just like... No one I knew had anything vintage. If they had any...
Everything I grew up with was old.
If they had vintage...
scrounged.
If they had vintage, it was because they didn't buy new furniture yet. Like, there was that. You had older people just never bought new stuff.
Right. And so that was like your starter furniture, whatever the hand-me-down stuff was that your parents cleaned out of the basement. Yeah, I'm familiar with that scenario.
No,
but that's the cool stuff. Now, to me, getting actual, like, constantly refining my collection of pieces of furniture, and I've been doing this forever. But when I moved away from home the week I turned 18...
Did you literally move them?
Yeah, I put my stuff in a U-Haul, and I left my keys on the kitchen table with the note, and I was out of there. I've been gone ever since.
Did you give your parents a heads up?
No.
Really? You just...
No. I had a job. I always had a job. So I had a bank account, and I had money, and I had a plan, and I was out.
So where did you go?
I ended up in Spokane, and that's where I went to college the first time.
Okay.
That was my pre-computer graphics design degree. And I moved to Seattle when I turned 21. I've been here ever since. Except for those years I was on the beach in Fiji.
Yeah, you went... Yeah, I was going to say, you lived in Fiji.
Yeah.
When did you go to Fiji?
It was early 90s.
Early 90s.
I think. Early 90s. Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Like, what do you want to know?
How does a girl from Spokane decide, I think I'm going to go live on Fiji for a while? How did that come about?
Oh, Fijian boyfriend. I had a Fijian boyfriend I lived with here in Seattle for a long time. And he went back home, and then eventually I went and hung out with him for a while.
I guess that makes complete sense then.
Absolutely.
How long did you live in Fiji?
On and off for 4 years. You can only stay 4 months on a visitor's visa, so you would have to leave.
For how long before you can come back?
Until I had the money to go back. Oh, man. Scrape up the money to go back.
I'll tell you what, I've resigned the fact of, like, I don't want to deal with a long distance relationship. I don't even want to date someone who lives in Tacoma, which is like 45 minutes away. I can imagine someone who lives in another country at an island in the Pacific. Those long distance phone calls are probably...
Well, no, we wrote letters. We wrote letters. I've never been big on talking on the phone. I suck at the phone. Anybody who knows me knows I suck at the phone. I forget to charge it. When I charge it, I forget to take it with me.
Yeah.
I'm just not good at talking on the phone. I don't know where that came from. I just never have been. But I can write.
So you would make a good millennial, because a lot of these kids, they don't talk on the phone. It's all about the texting and the community or the messenger thing.
I do that, and I suck at typing. Also, as anybody else who knows me knows, I am a terrible typer, and I have dyslexia, so, you kind of have to be able to translate me.
I got one of those messages today, and it's like I read what there's like 2 words that you meant that weren't right, and then but then you sent the corrections. So if Dawn sends you a text and it's a little off, she's going to send you the corrections. Just wait a second. I meant to say.
Right. It's because in my brain, the letters are in the right order, but when they come out the end of my fingers, they're backwards. And the first time I figured out I had dyslexia, I messed up every letter in a 4-letter word.
To the point where autocorrect doesn't even... Autocorrect goes like this.
They changed
What are you trying to say here, Dawn? I want to help, but...
changes my words completely all the time, so then it ends up something totally ridiculous, and I don't always catch it right away. And sometimes I leave it on purpose because it's hilarious.
Yeah, I hear you. So I'm going to ask a stupid question. So your time on Fiji, is that what sparked your interest into the whole tiki thing?
No, No, not really.
No.
Yes. Okay, this is a yes and
Well,
no.
then there's a good question then.
This is a yes and no. Where I was at artistic wise, because of Fiji, was the Tapa design. And really diving into Tapa was how I got into the tiki scene. Because I was the only one really doing Tapa design stuff. And I wrote a book about it. I have a book on Tapa design.
What's that book called?
It's called Tapa Designs of the South Pacific. It's a copyright-free design book. If you remember copyright-free design books from last century, because I don't think they exist anymore.
No, I think you're right.
Fijian Tapa is gorgeous. So amazing. So I started doing Tapa designs.
Yeah.
And I slowly started getting... Well, actually, how I started doing tiki faces was I would take the Tapa design elements and put them into faces to make tikis.
Yeah.
You know, I just like... And I did that for a really, really long time. And the tikis, you know, I don't think I do tiki the same way everybody else does.
No.
I'm pretty particular about the look of a tiki that I like. I like the Marquesan tikis. And Bill Collins is my favorite carver. His stuff is gorgeous. And I like to use Bill's tikis in my paintings. And I pretty much like to stick with a mark. Those are nice.
Yeah.
They look good. And it's easy for me to draw because, you know, all those lines and stuff. I get confused.
Yeah.
I'm more about the ambiance of the whole piece and not about, like, making a perfect tiki. Plus, then there's the whole thing of, okay, this is, like, the only art rule I ever absorbed.
What's that?
And it's because my mom would tell me this constantly. My entire childhood, my mom said this to me. Paint your tiniest detail with your biggest brush.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds counterintuitive to me.
It took me forever to figure out what that meant, and it means a couple of different things.
Please.
But basically, make broad strokes. Okay, make broad strokes. Because if you correctly make your broad strokes, you get all the details anyway.
Okay.
It's really super interesting. But I started to force myself to paint like that. I'll do an entire painting with like a 1-inch brush, a 1-inch wash brush.
Yeah.
And it forces your hand to be really loose. I kind of like that. That was the only art lesson I ever learned. Everything else
sounds like a life
went in one ear and out the other.
Well, it sounds like a life lesson.
It is. It is a life lesson.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? It's so cool.
Hey gang, this is Tiki with Ray, and I just want to say thank you very much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more episodes, click on the subscribe button. And if you liked the video, give it a like. That would mean a lot to me. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave a comment in the comment section below.